So this is going to be my full album review of the Game's new album titled Every Movie Needs a Trailer, which is a collaboration with DJ Drama, and it is a Gangster Grills. So we finally in 2025 have the Game and DJ Drama give us a Gangster Drill or Gangster Grill project. For those of you that don't know about Gangster Grills, back in the day, it was a mixtape series where all the top rappers would have a Gangster Grills project. And for some reason, Game and DJ Drama never put one together. And it's odd because Game is a top lyricist, and now we finally have one in 2025. So for millennials like me or older people like me listening to these projects in 2025, it's a little bit nostalgic. It definitely takes you back in time. But I'm gonna try and be as fair and just with my review. I'm not gonna try and let nostalgia play too much of a role in my analysis. So a couple things about the album, like I said, it's the first Gangsta Grills project with DJ Drama and the Game. I'm looking at my notes here. Also, this serves as a setup for the Game's documentary 3. So this is meant to sort of promote his next album, Documentary 3. And you see how they're going with like the movie slash film industry theme. Another notable thing about this album or this project is that I want to call it a mixtape, but I'm calling it a project because it's technically not a mixtape. Another thing is that according to Game, this was allegedly recorded in 48 hours, which if it was, I believe him. It certainly sounds like it. It sounds like certain songs weren't fully developed. And so I can definitely see them putting this together in 48 hours. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is that the production is mainly handled by Mike and Keys, which are, very, very well respected producers in the industry. So let's get this started. Track 1, Silver Lining. Right off the bat, we got a soulful sample, mid tempo. The Game's vocals are in Chopped and Screwed from Houston, that Houston Chopped and Screw style. He's basically talking about hope. And personally, I was underwhelmed by this track as an intro. It's not a bad track, but for an intro, I was extremely underwhelmed. When you think about the hype of finally getting the Game and DJ Drama Gangster Grills, and considering the long history of like epic Gangster Grill intros, this was underwhelming. But it was a decent track. It's just not what I would be expecting from an intro. Next, Caviar and Cartier. This is another soulful beat, which is establishing that soulful tone. And here we see Game getting introspective, which he does quite a bit throughout this project. He's talking about the contrast between luxury and street, and him, sort of trying to grasp this idea of being successful and wealth and status and all this stuff. So it was a cool track. It was not bad. Next track, Can I, featuring Eric Bellinger. I hope I'm saying that right. Again, a little bit slower, a little bit smoother, mellower. Eric Bellinger does the hook here. And lyrically, again, Game is getting introspective, talking about reflecting on the things that he's lost in his career and in his life. And me personally, when I listen to Game's flow, not the lyrics, not the beat, just the flow alone, it reminded me like a little bit of Jay-Z on 444, particularly the track Kill Jay-Z. And maybe it's because he is being introspective, but there's something about it. I know the flow a little bit, but there's a lot of different elements that sort of remind me of Jay-Z on 444. But this was I really like this track. Can I was definitely a standout. Next is Chrome of Hearts. This was a little bit darker production, so we get a darker sound here. and we see him talk about paranoia and pressure. And this is the track, this is one of the tracks that has the internet buzzing because it's the track where a lot of people believe that he disses Kendrick Lamar. Some people say this, some people say he's just being competitive. Who knows? I'm not going to overanalyze it. But it could certainly be taken as a diss. And the bar has something to do was towards the end of the song where he talks something about like being the king of LA and no one's gonna do anything about it. But definitely a cool track. Next we have America's Nightmare, where and he spells America with three K's, KKK, and this is where he kind of goes into like a bit of a political bag, or maybe not political, maybe just like societal bag, where he's talking about society as a whole, American society, and he's basically talking about the injustices and of like police, just like the injustices of America. For me, the beat kind of had like Kanye West vibes, particularly the drums were very Kanye-esque. After America's Nightmare, oh sorry, nice track, cool track. Um, Game, especially lately on social media, he's been known to have like strong commentary on politics and society as a whole. So, you know, a lot of his view, especially if you follow him online, a lot of his viewpoints and perspectives on these topics are not a big surprise. But let's keep going. Next, after this, we get the track Clown Emojis, which is a really, really dark sort of beat, hard, dark beat. And I guess the best way I can describe it, he's basically just making fun of rappers. Like, he's just mocking rappers. Like, um, the next track is called Good Enough. And this here, he goes back to his introspective self. The beat is a little bit more positive sounding. The lyrics are a little bit more positive. He even brings out a choir, a gospel choir. And it's like I personally really like this track. The mix of him being introspective with like the soulful gospel choir and the drill beat, like the rhythm was like a drill rhythm in the background. It was cool. I really liked it. I really like this beat and the track. Next we have Quarter Zips and Matcha. This particular track here, we go back to a bit of a simpler beat production, but it's definitely still dramatic and it hits hard. Not Drake, sorry. The Game goes from a more, in the previous track, he had like a positive tone, and here he returns to like a more aggressive tone where he's basically saying that he's establishing being ready for war and just like him being ready for dominance and conflict and that kind of stuff. So interesting track. Next we have Rotation featuring Jeremith. And for me, this is probably like if this album or this project was to have like a single, this would definitely be the single. It gives off like pool party vibes, or like, I don't know. It's a cool little vibe. I would definitely have this on in the background at a party or a get together. And here the Game is it's just like swagger rap really, with like a cool little like fun beat. And Jeremy, he's a great singer and hook maker. Next we have the Coast Guard, and here this is for me. Like if we were to think about going on YouTube and type in like DJ Drama type beat, this is like the one song in the album where I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like a DJ Drama, Gangsta Grills type of beat. So take that for what it's worth. The song is basically using the metaphor of the Coast Guard, and using the Coast Guard as a metaphor to talk about protection and being vigilant for himself and protecting his borders for his family members and his legacy and his reputation. So it's a I liked it. I liked it. I like this type of beats, and I like that content matter. So it was cool. Um, Next we have the song "Head of State," and here he talks about it's like a manifesto where he talks about like um, what if he runs for president, which to me it definitely gave me vibes like right off the bat when I heard it. It gave me vibes of like Wycliffe John's "If I Were President," so it's sort of like along those lines. And he does return here to a soulful beat. So while the content isn't new, like I've heard songs like these before, it was cool hearing Game, kind of like hearing Game going that back, like if he was president, like because he's just such an interesting character. It would be quite interesting if what if he ran for president? Why not? So and and he does again like get into like his political bag, which maybe I just never paid attention. But me personally, I don't recall hearing a Game album where like he gave us so much of his political views on. But I guess he's always touched on social commentary, but I guess I'm on this particular project. It just seems like he's just like more like more straightforward with like his political takes. He doesn't like hide it as much. And then like sort of like the climax of like his political takes and all that is really the next track, which is titled "The Assassination of Candace Owens." Candace Owens herself reposted the lyrics to this song where she basically co-signed it, and this is like it's a very interesting song. Like he goes into a lot of conspiracy theories, mainly talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He talks about needing to protect voices like Candace Owens. Um, it's a very interesting track. I guess if you follow those type of things, um, you would like this song. I don't necessarily. I mean, I didn't. I'm a guy who didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was till the situation happened. So I don't really know what to think about the lyrical content of this because I mean I don't listen to Candace Owens. I don't know much about Charlie Kirk and he's kind of going like deep dive like full out conspiracy theory on this. Um, the next track is called "Left Out," and the song talks about his feelings on isolation and betrayal. Um, and this particular song, his tone, like he uses this weird tone that I don't think I've heard him use before, and maybe I just don't listen to too much Game, or I'm forgetting Game's previous projects, but I've heard all of them. I don't recall this, or maybe I'm old, I'm losing my memory, him using this sort of tone before, but it came across as weird to me. But musically it makes sense because the beat itself, it was like it had like this really sort of like experimental groove, I guess is the way I would word it. So why not? Like it's an experimental beat, experimental tone. Why not? But I think this is definitely like as far as like listening responsibility, it's the most challenging one to listen to. Um, and after that we have the song "Blood Tears" featuring Mozzy. It's a soul beat. He talks about trauma and the hardships of street life. So it's that sort of song. It's a soulful, smooth beat. Mozzy's verse is great. Next, we have "So Contagious" by featuring Latoya Williams. Another one where We get this really nice melodic, soulful hook from Latoya, and the game talks about love and relationships. So we get like the softer side of game, and the with the smooth instrumental. Um, Next we get Just Like Me. The moment I turned this one on, I got straight out 90s vibes. Um, and Game basically just like is giving us a checklist of what it means to be him. In short, yeah. So the definitely 90s vibes all the way with that one. Next we have Scheme featuring OT Genesis, and this is to me like reminding me like some sort of like old school West Coast sort of beat. So which makes sense because they have OT Genesis in it, and they basically are, it's like a street hustle sort of like lyrical content thing. And then finally we have Living featuring Haley Williams, and this is like another like one of those songs where he's like reflecting, being introspective, um, and talking about his legacy and some of his regrets. So some people are saying that this might be like a transitional song to get us from like this Gangsta Grills to Documentary 3. All right, so overall, I was excited going into this. Gangsta Grill, the game, one of the best rappers. In terms of raps, the game has not missed a step. He can rap. He's always been able to rap. I mean, the man can rap. So please don't take what I'm about to say as anything against his abilities. He's one of the top most gifted rappers. But this album, at the beginning I said the game claims they did it in 40 hours. It sounds like it was done quickly. It sounds the tracking sometimes doesn't make sense. Some of the ideas weren't executed as good as they could have been. I mean, yeah, it's just the project just doesn't really seem very very well structured, or like the order, like the track list doesn't really seem to always vibe. But neither did a lot of mixtapes back in the day. So like if you're looking at this from like a mixtape sort of point of view, like an old school mixtape, like yeah, this is what we got, like underdeveloped ideas, and then but with the DJ drama, that's sort of like what set him apart. Like his Gangster Grill tapes were always like he had a vision, and he put it together, and it was always well organized. So I'm not used to this from a Gangster Grill mixtape. I'm used to more, but it wasn't a bad mixtape. It wasn't how the level of greatness that I was expecting, and maybe that's on me as a fan with my nostalgia, like, and being so hyped to finally see DJ Drama with the game do a Gangster Grill, that maybe my expectations were too high. But it definitely doesn't meet the hype that I personally had. But it's a solid album. A lot of interesting takes and ideas from the game. He has not lost a step as far as rap. If I was gonna rate it like 5-star, 5 being the top rank and 1 being the worst, I would probably give this a 3. I would definitely give it a 3. It's not bad. It's not great. It's a little above average. So you let me know. What do y'all think? This is just my POV. I'm no one. So let me know what you guys think, and what was your favorite track. Peace out.